guys for being here. Good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you might be. My name is Marva B. I am the publisher, the CEO and founder of Black Link Magazine, and I'm excited to have Xavier Paul with us here today. Xavier, thank you for coming and saying yes to this interview.
Oh, for sure. Awesome. Yeah. This is my one of my home studios here. I kind of have to take it on the road with me if I'm doing a master class in another city because as a full-time voiceover artist, you always want to be very close to the studio. So
Yeah, guys, we are with actor and voiceover Xavier Paul. He's on Netflix, CBS, Cartoon Network, ESPN, HBO. I mean, should I go on? The list is long. And so we want to ask you, Xavier, first of all, welcome to Black Link Magazine. Go ahead and just introduce yourself, and then we'll jump into the interview.
Oh, well, look, I just really appreciate your time, Marva, and your commitment to making sure that Black artists in our media industry are acknowledged. And we know that our industry is vast and wide with so many different talents, yet there seems to be only so many people that can be held in the spotlight at any one time. So the fact that you're offering the spotlight to diverse artists who may not be on the number one list right now, or maybe doing things that are behind the scenes and have iconic careers that have lasted decades, then they need to be acknowledged as well. And I so appreciate you doing that for me. Uh, you may not know my name, Xavier Paul Cadeau, yet I'm sure you're familiar with my sound. I've been narrating and doing all sorts of commercials and TV shows and trailers for movies for really kind of grew up doing that here in the New York City area where I'm born and raised. So anytime
Wow.
people want to go onto my website, xaviergreatvoice.com, and hear all the different commercials and things. Right now I'm on a series called Transformers Cyberverse. I'm playing one of the Transformers characters by the name of Dead End. And it's a Decepticon. He's got an edge to him, and it's a real fun and honored way. I'm very honored to be part of the Transformers franchise. And there are other things cooking, which I'm sure we'll get into a bit later.
So let's talk about how what got you in this arena of entertainment. Voiceover, while it's behind the scenes, it's a big deal because I looked at your bio and I saw like Kelly and Ryan's show, how you introduced them. I see, a lot of things that you've done. So starting young, what brought you into this realm of entertainment?
Yeah, sure. So I started out as an actor and still am an actor. Yet I discovered the very specialized genre of voice acting pretty early on because I was very curious about who are the voices on the radio, who are the voices in commercials. Because I grew up listening to radio drama, particularly E.G. Marshall on the CBS Radio Mystery Theater. E.G. Marshall, one of the iconic storytellers of, I would say, the 50s to the early 80s would
Wow.
be his time window, and very accomplished, in the Leonard Nimoy variety of very iconic American storytellers. And I loved his ability to capture mystery, to really do what Jordan Peele is doing now. A lot of us in this generation grew up on those icons, and now we're adding our own cultural spin to it. So it really did start for me in the theater here in New York. Negro Ensemble Company, National Black Theater, Frank Silvera's Writers Workshop, working with people like Keith David, and as a child, Esther Rolle at the National Black Theater Festival, Mira Baraka, all the great spoken word artists, there more. So these are my roots, essentially, no pun intended, and they really are the foundation of my spoken word voice artist career. So I've done a lot of other different things, and I would say my career is really being, I would say, spearheaded by my voice work.
Yes. When I was going down through there and I look at all of that, and it's just, I was listening to your voice and I was like, whoa, absolutely should be voiceover like this. He has the voice. Did you train yourself like that, or it just came like second nature to you? I was like, I want to be a voiceover, but my voice don't sound like radio, or like I should be behind the scenes like that. How do you change your voice like that to make it for radio or for voiceovers?
Well, as I think about that question, Marva, I am inclined to say that the voice is the mirror to the soul. I discovered that. Theater has shown me that the human being is a voice and speech instrument, as well as a spiritual instrument. So here it is, human being, a spiritual instrument, and the human body, a voice and speech instrument. So singing, speaking, we use our voices for all sorts of things. We live our lives, and it's our instrument. So I would say that it's really a foundational apprenticeship, vocational journey that an artist takes on if they choose to be the singer, the voice, the actor, or all the above.
Yeah.
And they become cultivated. It's done to us, really, when we really get down to it. And when I meet Debbie Allen, I'll talk with her about this as well, because I think she would agree in that once you're fully committed to your journey as a craftsperson, as an artist,
Mm-hmm.
you'll find it moves in on you. The discipline, the training, the poise, the voice, the speech, the ability to story tell, the ability to access the imagination. It's probably one of the reasons I started teaching acting, is because I wanted to deeply immerse myself into the craft and then further the craft through my discoveries. So
Right.
yeah, so there's certainly it's part commitment, and then I think part just, being cured by the fire.
I like
Hot
that.
fire.
I like that. So then what do? You have a manager or whoever that connects you with all of these different entities like GTA, like these I know GTA because of my kids, right? And I never realized that, well, that you like I would be interviewing someone behind the scenes at GTA, right? So how do you get connected to all those different entities like the Kelly and Ryan show and the things that you do?
Well, what happens to a lot of actors is once you commit to your craft and stay focused on it, they'll come find you. They'll notice you. Because what's going on in the industry now is that the industry is so hungry now than ever before for solid, developed talent. So it's said that talent is a dime a dozen. Yeah, that's true. Developed talent is rare.
Yeah.
Now we're getting into where talent matters, when that talent is developed.
Yeah.
Very short list of developed talent in our business.
Yep.
Very short list. So my goal was always to get on that, essentially to be on that short list, commercially, artistically. And once I discovered finding a place there, then opportunities began to open up for me. Because these days, we have Google. People call themselves actors. People decided to be an actor this afternoon. Since we started speaking, we've got a whole community of people, I'm an actor now. I can get on Google, I pop up a website, throw up some photos, and I'm in business. That's sort of the world that we're in.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a rationale that says anybody has a shot. Well, I suppose if you can get the buyer's attention or Hollywood's attention, then perhaps, yet the question now becomes, once you perhaps have the attention, can you hold it? Are you actually bringing something that we need?
Yeah.
And this is really what I try to advocate.
Right.
And all those issues related to developing as an artist and marketing oneself and getting oneself out there, those are questions that will answer themselves once you get on the road to developing your talent. But
Yeah.
if you don't, then you'll be in the sea of people who are like, well, I'll just sign up to this website, or maybe I'll wait in line on American Idol and just, hopefully I'll get in there. I'll only have to wait for 2 weeks and get in there and wow Simon. But if not, well, then you're back of the line again. So
Yeah. So you do believe that with commitment that it can be developed. Anybody can be developed.
if you're going to have a career, if
Right.
it's really going to happen for you, because people ask me that, I want you, they want my career, they want it. They're like that. I see it and I want it. Sure, listen, I can relate. When I look at Morgan Freeman's career, heck, sure, I want that. But what I probably need to want more is the road that he took to get that, to be
Right.
that, to embody that. That's what I really need to want.
Yeah.
And that's what most people don't want.
Yeah, they
They
want
want
to skip
instant.
those, skip the parts. They want to skip some
Correct.
parts and get
It's
right
the
to
world
it.
we live in. It's immediate gratification. It's red carpets, glitz, popping bottles. You know the story. You know
Yeah.
the story.
Yeah.
And my thing is, you know, I guess in a lot of ways, I see myself as a guide. I want to guide people to the right road. I want to
Right.
guide people to the truth about what it means to be an artist and what it means to be an artist making a living in this business.
Right. And that's what I was going to say. So like, it's a difference between I'm an artist that and an artist making a living at this, right? So we would say that that's consistent when you're making a living, it's consistent work, you consistently working, right?
Indeed, and the diversification and can I say it? Application of, I know I can say it. I've said it before here. The diversification and application of your varied talents to the industry in such a way that you become an entity for resources, including and not limited to acting, writing, perhaps even casting. If you're an actor, well, there are many different kinds of actors,
Yeah,
many different kinds of actors, voice actors, stunt actors, commercial, stand-in for feature film and television. I did that for years. I was a stand-in on so many different shows for years. As my voiceover schedule picked up, I was standing in less and less. You know, as a stand-in,
right.
you're on set pretty much a good 16 hours a day. And I remember I was standing in for Rodamy on Power.
Uh-huh.
And Rodamy, comes out of his trailer all bushy-tailed and bright-eyed and relaxed because he's been warm for the last 7 hours. And I'm freezing. I wasn't all that chipper because I was on set, lying in a ditch so that they could light the shot that he was getting ready to
Right.
act in. So I was pretty much learning my chops there. But at that time was a great way to make a great living as an actor, as a union actor, or to build up for someone who's non-union to build up their union credits to become a union actor. It was a great way to watch, and even extra work, watching and learning how to be a part of telling a story without being the center of attention.
Yeah.
Because then when voiceover students come to me, I say, well, can you do that? Because many times that's what we need in voiceover. So many people come to me with great sounding voices, deep voices. I'm working with someone right now. His voice is so deep, he makes James Earl Jones sound like Kermit the Frog. Okay? Deep, like the ocean is like, you listen
Right.
to him and you have to hold on to something because you feel as
Right.
if you're being drawn in to the depths of the sea. But the thing is, now I'm arming him with the acting and theater craft foundation so that he can tell stories, so that we can, when we listen to him, the focus isn't on how great he sounds, the focus is the story that he's telling.
Yeah.
That's what happens with so many newcomers. It's, oh my gosh, well, because of the industry, we hear the voice, but you're not focusing us into the message. And the people who work in our industry are the storytellers that can tell stories in a way where that story goes in on a deep level to the audience.
How do you switch up? Because like, right, you have to know, you have to be this voice for this, you have to be this person for that, you got to be this. Like, how do you get in and out of character, even in voiceover, right? Even behind.
Well, especially in voiceover. And I
Yeah.
love these questions because they all point back to one place, the craft. The
Right.
craft has all the answers.
Right.
See? Literally, one of my very, very first voice acting teachers, I was fascinated because when he played his demo, it was a city of people. I was like, who are all these people? They were all him. I couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it. Distinctly different. Perhaps if you listen closely, you could hear a slight similarity in speech timbre and
Right.
voice signature, perhaps, but for the most part, distinctly different, natural sounding characters for everything from commercials to various narrations, to various audiobooks, all of it. And I said, I love this. I want to learn how to do that.
Right.
And at the time, luckily, I was an acting student. So pretty
Right.
much what it is being able to take that acting training and applying it to storytelling in a genre that relies heavily upon the imagination. Because as you
Mm.
can see, my
Mhm.
scene partner is a microphone and a foam wall. That imagination must be here because physically it's the limitations of the room. And of course, I can close the door behind me. It's this small space.
Right.
Yet my imagination, my sense imagination and my sense body expands out to the ends of the universe. And this is what the craft teaches us. And this is what I work to advocate for people to begin to learn how to tap into their imagination. You'll need it in here. And as actors for on camera, you'll also need it when it's green screen and you're doing
Right.
an entire feature film and your scene partner is a 50-foot green wall. You
Wow.
see? So I'm always about the craft. The craft has given me everything, which is why
Yeah.
I give it everything. It's
Yeah.
important for artists to learn the craft and to allow the craft to learn them. It's a relationship. It's an
Yeah.
energy. It's alive. It's not
Yeah.
just, oh, I think I want to be a bunny now. Okay, well, there's a place for people who do that. And it actually is a padded room as well, but you don't get paid in that one. But you see, it's very much that. It's very much the world of imagination. Writers do this as well. If directors, it's all coming from that tapped in and advanced relationship and access to that imagination so that we can go ahead and tell those compelling stories and create those compelling characters and be consistent with it, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I could ramble on, but that's a big part of
Yeah.
the foundation.
What would you tell someone? I mean, you've given it all here. I mean, you're dropping gems, but like, what's most important for just a newcomer? Like, because you're right, they see the glitz and the glamour, they want to get it now. I'm going to go do this, and I want to get it now. But there is levels to this, right? So, what is the best advice that you're giving people that want to get into a career for voiceovers per se or acting?
Yeah.
It's a hard industry.
Well, life can be hard, I mean, let's keep it real. I mean, the industry is what it is. I mean, it's a voiceover. When I'm doing a voiceover, it's not brain surgery. So we keep it in perspective. We understand that when we pursue our goals and we have our hopes and dreams, I think an important shift for actors, new actors, is to realize that while it's great to have those aspirations and hopes and dreams, I think it's important to also, and I think this is why I'm grateful for being from a family of healthcare providers and
Mm,
people who are of service, that their whole lives are dedicated to being of service to others, particularly when they're in need.
mm.
So it's not so much about my hopes, dreams, I want this, I need this, see myself here, I. But it's more about, it's about you. What do you need? How can I help you?
Mm.
Am I bringing something that you need to the table? And if so, how can I continue to do that? Because that my career depends upon that. When you start talking about an industry like show business,
Right.
because it has to do with, are you bringing what we need? Are you bringing what we want? Social media is just popping right now because people seem to they need an escape from the objective reality. They need virtual reality.
Right.
They need to escape right now. So they're more interested in what's going on. They want the energy. Hang on, let me see if the camera can go. So here's the screen, whatever your device is, and they want the energy has to go from here to there. They want to jump in here. But see, when you're an actor, you have to learn to put this down
Right.
and realize that the only reality is the one you're experiencing right here and now. And this is
Right.
what you're creating from when you're going to create that song or that movie or that whatever. It's all coming from here. It's not stuff your a nose in a phone or on a screen. That's a very important shift because the very things that we need as artists to grow our career right now are the very things we're being distracted from. So people
Right.
are a bit stuck, you see? And I just wanted to make that point. To finish answering your question, it has to do also with getting on the journey. Begin the journey of cultivating yourself as an artist. Begin that road of developing your talent, identifying your talent. Who am I? What am I? What do I care about? How do I tick? What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? Everybody's got them.
Mm-hmm.
And solid training, again, I keep going back to the visual with Debbie Allen in the beginning of the movie of Fame, and she's cracking the whip. You want fame? Because that's the message. It's a very important message that she's saying. She's saying, okay, are you sure you want this? Do you know what you're asking for?
Yeah.
Are you clear on where you're going with this? Do you even know who you are before you begin this? Because all these questions will be answered for you if you don't answer them yourself. Okay. And
Wow.
it's important because listen, we hear so much, all we hear about Hollywood are these conspiracy theories. Oh, Hollywood is so horrible. They're cooking children and it's the devil and on and on and on. And everybody's the devil. But for me, when I sit back and listen to all that crap, it sounds like a whining baby, crying for their mama. It's like, free will universe out here, man. You can remember that by smoking a blunt. It's a free will universe. Ain't nobody asking you to come to Hollywood. Clive Davis ain't banging down your door to talk to you or Puffy or anybody. And if you have the ability to create a hit song, then leave these people alone and go do it yourself. But if you're going to deal with another human being, well, you're going to deal with human faults. But there's another way. You can learn about who you are and get self-sufficient. and stop making excuses and hoping that the world is going to change in some kind of way before you make it as a human being or as an actor.
Wow.
When I learned that no one cares whether or not Xavier Paul ever makes it or not, that's when I finally became free. Finally became free as a person and as an actor. Because now I know that the person who needs to care is me. And that's the person who does care, me. It
Wow.
matters to me that I give something, that I contribute something, and that I grow as a spiritual being and as an artist. And everything else can holler. It really can holler.
I love it. I
There's
love
there's there's your lesson. How to make it in
that's
show business
that's
in
it.
45 seconds or less.
That's the lesson. That's the lesson. Well, I really do appreciate you being here. Can we talk about some of the things on your list on your bio, like
Oh yeah, sure.
the like the GTA thing, and then we can wrap. But like how like it said that you did like GTA 4 and 5 and Vice City and all that, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
So were
Grand
you
Theft
a
Auto.
character?
Yeah, yeah. So in five, I was this Haitian cab driver that's being held hostage. So that was interesting. And in GTA San Andreas, I played this homeless guy in on Sunset Boulevard who supposedly gets interacted with by the main character Nico, and
Uh-huh.
then various ancillary townspeople and such. And at that time, GTA was, well, it was all the rage. It probably is still all the rage because it was the biggest game,
Yeah.
and it was the biggest. Probably still is the biggest. I think
Yeah.
they sold 250 million pre-sales, and
That's
yeah,
amazing.
yeah. I did the first one in 2004 actually. Yeah, San
And then
Andreas.
now currently the night of.
Night of was 8 episodes. If you remember, they did that 2015, 2016 with Riz Ahmed, John Turturro, and the late Michael K. Williams.
Mm,
It's a limited edition series for HBO, and Michael K. Williams was a joy to work with, just an amazing talent. And we had a lot in common because he also started in New York and as a dancer, and
yeah.
you're starting young and you're having that vision, and you created a wonderful legacy, which we can all learn from. And then, of course, John Turturro, I remember him from being a kid and working as an extra on Do the Right Thing.
Yeah.
A lot of interesting memories there. So yeah, and from that particular set, it's interesting you mentioned the night of because that was really a project that was held quite dear to the Hollywood community because James Gandolfini from Sopranos fame, this was his sort of brainchild baby project. But then
Right.
as he passed on, his community kind of took it and allowed him to kind of live on through it by continuing to develop it and grow it. And so the director, Steve Zalian, who actually co-wrote
Right.
Schindler's List, if I'm not mistaken, a lot of other iconic movies. It was just an amazing, set so
Right.
well, feel the
And
energy.
then what did you actually do for like the HGTV and the Weather Channel? So is it
Oh
just
yeah, yeah, I was their promo voice for a little while.
okay?
Let's see, Weather Channel. This was before Byron Allen bought it, although I'd love to go back. I need
Right.
to reach him. Does anybody have his number? I'm kidding. I'll get his number. Um, what is it? You're watching the Weather Channel. Live by it. Coming up, your local on Yates weather right after this.
Do it
That's
again.
his
One more
usual
time.
promo.
Can you do it again?
Promo for yeah. Yeah, you're pretty much the iconic line we hear. You're watching the Weather Channel. Live by it. So that was me for a little while. Yeah.
I like that. Okay, and HGTV. Now, what was HGTV?
Oh gosh, I don't even remember. It was
Okay.
some two guys in a barn in a truck, like, hey, their girlfriends think they're at the game, but now they're getting ready to cook something. It's all these promos they come and go.
The
Um,
Cartoon Network.
some of this stuff I don't even remember, but yeah, cartoons. I've got something coming out called Jade Armor, and that's pretty popular in France and Germany right now, and they're trying to get it on some UK networks. So that and Hot
Wow.
Wheels. If you want to hear some current stuff, Hot Wheels White City. I think it's called Hot Wheels White City. They've now done a full scale animation of Hot Wheels. If you
Oh
go on
wow.
YouTube and just type in Hot Wheels, you'll hear me playing the character of Chad. I'm token black guy in
Oh,
that cast. And then of course Transformers. If you want to watch Transformers,
Transformers.
seasons 1 through 4, and the two movies that we did, full length movies, that's on Netflix right now.
Yeah.
Transformers Cyberverse.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited. Like you made me all excited. I don't know why, but your energy, I love your energy that you know,
Oh, I should talk about the classes though, because I do want people to reach out and study with me.
right. Let's talk about your classes really quick.
I'm probably, and then I know this may sound crazy, but I'm just as excited about the study as I am about doing the actual work. They're kind of
Yeah.
neck and neck for me, really, because honestly speaking, it's kind of one and the same. I mean, this studio functions as the workspace and the class space. So if a student's over Zoom, we're working here. When CBS calls, we're working here. So that's kind of my life, and I love it because that means I get to work and develop my craft in the exact same space.
Right.
You know, and that's invaluable. And for a lot of the aspiring voice artists, I think what happens is they get their equipment, they perhaps buy this, have somebody install it in a weekend, and they want to get started. But my road, you couldn't. No, I'm not for sale. Gonna
Right.
have to cultivate it. Gonna have to take a few years and really cultivate it, so that when
Right.
you put this together and you walk in here, it's something that people want to hear, as opposed
Right.
to, oh, I just want to do this because it looks cool, it looks interesting, it looks fun. That's kind of what people do with show business. It looks cool, it looks fun from here, but when I get in there, looks different all of a sudden.
Yep. Wow.
So, very, very important. Yet for those who do have the commitment, then go ahead and go to the website, XavierGreatVoice.com, fill out the contact me form, and we'll get started with basic acting training. And we'll see where you're at. If you're coming out of radio, I work with radio people and help them make that
Wow.
transition. If you're coming out of Broadway or television, I help people move into that space where they become competitive and viable, and move their craft to a competitive place, and then take that place and make it applicable to what's going on in the
Wow.
industry, depending on their
Awesome.
interest. It could be audiobook, it could be commercial, they may want animation, and it's got to be a fit both ways, for them
Right.
and the industry, and vice versa.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for sharing with me. Like that was a lot. You shared a lot and I appreciate that. And I can't wait to get it out for people to see who didn't make the live. We are going to post it on YouTube. So you guys go over to YouTube and see the entire interview because it was very interesting. Go ahead and tell the people how they can follow you on your social media sites.
Yeah. Instagram would be the main one, I think. Cool Voice Media, at Cool Voice Media. CoolVoiceMedia on Instagram, at Cool Voice Media. On Twitter, it's Voiceover Today, all one word. Actually, yeah, one word,
Okay.
Voiceover Today. And then from XavierGreatVoice.com, you can get links to all those destinations. So I would send people to XavierGreatVoice.com first, XavierGreatVoice.com. And then I'm happy to answer any questions people may have. If you're on the Clubhouse app, I'm also there doing various master classes and Q&As and helping people kind of learn and navigate a bit more about
Yeah.
kind of what's going on.
That's amazing. So again, Xavier, thank you so much for sharing. I appreciate you being here and saying yes to Black Link Magazine. So you guys, we're going to go for now, but remember, respect yourself, respect each other. God bless.